Hello everyone, I am River Chow. Let's continue with our deeper subject about fate. Everyone comes into this world to play one-time chess. The role you play is written in your cosmic birth certificate. This is the identity heaven and earth assign you. In Bazi language, this identity is known as Day Master. Everyone has their own identity, but all identities fall into just 10 types, the 10 heavenly stems. Everyone is born as one of these types. If you're new to the heavenly stems and earthly branches system, you can refer to my previous video for the basics. Let's continue using Margaret Thatcher, the former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, as our example. Margaret's day master is yang metal, which means she is playing the role of yang metal on this one-time chess. The Book of Changes tells us that this chessboard is an 8x8 grid, containing 64 different scenes. They are the 64 hexagrams. As we move across this chessboard, we meet different chess players in different scenes. Maybe at one moment you meet a yin water in one scene. And at another time, you meet a yang wood in another scene. When Margaret Thatcher is playing the role of yang metal on her chessboard, there was a moment, she met her husband, yin metal, on the square of a love scene in Hexagram Sensation. And she spent many decades of her life with this yin metal on the square of the marriage scene in Hexagram, long lasting. There was also a moment when a terrifying scene appeared. The moment when Margaret received the news that her son had gone missing in Africa during a car racing trip. Perhaps that was the moment they were both standing on the square of Hexagram, without misbehave. This is the simplest way to see what life is. Yet, when we add the theory of the heavenly stems and earthly branches, a deeper insight can be seen. The Chinese call this bazi reading. Let me give you another example. Queen Elizabeth. She was born on the 21st of April 1926, at 2:40 a.m. in England. Surprisingly, she is also a yang metal. When two yang metal met on the chessboard, what can you expect? History has already told us what happens when these two yang metal rule a country at the same time. What chemical effect had happened? What make one sharpen into the Iron Lady, while the other stands unshaken as the Queen? In Bazi, every character sigil carries its own element. The combination of the sigil above, granted by heaven, and the sigils below, granted by the earth, made every individual a unique fate. Though Margaret and Elizabeth are both yang metal, the structure of their four pillars is completely different. When Margaret Thatcher is a steel, sitting on a red horse, that burns and refines her. Queen Elizabeth is a dragonslayer blade, resting upon a pair of dragons that empower her. Furthermore, the earth has also granted Elizabeth a green tiger. According to the five-element theory, wood generate fire. This green tiger contributes a beautiful surge of yang fire to forge the dragonslayer blade. In Bazi theory, this green tiger also represents her father. Bazi reading is such a sophisticated system that one of its techniques allows us to read each sigil as a different family member. In Queen Elizabeth's chart, her father and mother are concealed in the inner layers, indicating that her parents were more private or played a background role in her life. Meanwhile, her husband and children appear in the outer layers, reflecting how they became the figures most easily exposed to the public eye. In Bazi reading, the combination of these 8 sigils not only can shape a person's character. It also explains the invisible forces behind attraction. It explains what makes a man love a woman, and what makes a woman love a man. Let's examine the Bazi chart of Queen Elizabeth's husband, Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. Philip was born on the 10th of June 1921 at 10 a.m. local time in Greece. Philip's day master is yang wood, meaning heaven and earth assigned him the role of a tall green tree. It also means Philip is playing the role of yang wood on this his one-time chess. When a yang wood met a yang metal on this chessboard, what can you expect? According to the five-element theory, metal destroys wood. So if Philip is yang wood, he would never love Elizabeth, because Elizabeth is yang metal. She is a yang metal blade that keeps cutting him into pieces. Yes, this theory would be true if we looked at only one sigil. But in Bazi analysis, we don't look only at the day master's sigil. We look at the full picture of all 8 sigils. When we examine the full structure of Philip's chart, the story changes. Philip is a tall tree born in the month of the Red Horse. This is the lunar month when wood begins to dry out and die. In this chart, it indicated that Philip is a wood that is drying out. He also carries no water sigils. In this case, when Philip's yang wood is drying, and his water is absent, then metal becomes the only element capable of generating the water he needs. And that is precisely what Elizabeth is. She is a yang metal. It explains why Philip loves Elizabeth. Besides, bazi reading offers another angle for understanding their relationship. Instead of destroying a dead tall tree, Elizabeth's yang metal becomes a metal axe that can transform that dry wood into something beautiful and meaningful. Like a sculpture, a piece of lovely furniture, or anything of value. Elizabeth's yang metal becomes the element that sustains him. In bazi language, the elements that carry favorable energy to a person are called lucky god. And since the heavenly stems come in 10 forms, there are 10 types of lucky god. So, yang metal and yin water must be Philip's lucky god. Now, let's examine the bazi chart of Elizabeth to understand why she loved Philip. According to the 5-element theory, soil generates metal. Out of the 8 sigils, there are 3 soil sigils in her chart. Elizabeth, as a yang metal, is generated by 3 soil sigils. This amount of soil is overwhelming. She needs wood to break through that heavy soil. Yin wood, of grass and plants, cannot help. She needs the firm, yang wood, of a tall tree. And that is precisely what Philip is, a tall tree, strong enough to break through the weight of stubborn soil and lift her metal back into harmony. It explains why Elizabeth loves Philip. If my bazi analysis is not wrong, yang wood is considered Elizabeth's lucky god. Then, Elizabeth naturally favors water as well, because according to the 5-element theory, water generates wood. In this sense, both Philip and Elizabeth love water. When a husband and wife cherish the same element, it means they see the world through the same values and the same vision. This alignment usually makes a harmonious couple. Indeed, there is a lot of information in bazi reading that can reveal a person's fate and destiny. If you like to learn more, stay tuned to my Patreon and this YouTube channel. Bazi is never a superstition. Instead, it is a sophisticated system built on the theory of yin and yang, together with the 5 elements to analyze one's life. Every person born into this world carries only 8 sigils, yet there are 10 heavenly sigils and 12 earthly sigils in total. That is why no one is perfect. You may have one sigil but lack another. You might have a very extreme bazi chart, with only 2 kinds of sigils. Or you might have wood, soil, metal, water but no fire sigil. All the unique structure of the 4 pillars gives everyone a different fate. In some fates, you may have a good career but have no children. Or in some fates, you may have a caring mother but a difficult father. Our fate is all written on a cosmic birth certificate granted by both heaven and earth. We cannot change our identity, for it is heaven's decree that determines the role we are meant to play in the human world. And we cannot change the heavenly sigils or the earthly sigils either. When heaven's will is fixed, earth's intention is set, can we still change our fate? It's time for our 1-minute writing session. Today, we learn the Chinese character of the first heavenly stem.
甲
It is a yang wood. In feng shui chart, space is divided into 24 direction.
甲
Yang wood spans 67.5 degrees to 82.5 degrees, which falls within the eastern direction. If yang wood is your lucky element, having your room's window face yang wood.
甲
This direction is considered good feng shui. Furthermore, 3 must be your lucky number. And green must be your lucky color. In the heavenly stems and earthly branches system, each governs a different part of the human body. Yang wood represents the head. Don't you think the character
甲
looks like a big human head? Thank you for watching.